Ladies and gentlemen, it says I'm live. Hello, hello, I'm Joe, Geek to My Nerd, and today I am continuing my golden era of Squaresoft with Final Fantasy Tactics. Possibly, of the games I've streamed so far, the most re released, possibly the most well known, uh, but not necessarily the most loved, I'm gonna say. It's hard to say with this game because it is definitely one I feel is a well-known, well-respected title, but not necessarily as well-known as some of the other core Final Fantasies. This one has had the most sequels and Final Fantasy games set in its universe, but that doesn't necessarily mean much. That just means that it's had its day. Um, While I let the game get started and get ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and share out some links. There are a couple of opening cinematics, so to speak, so we're going to give it a second. That way I can give some people in the chat time to filter in. And all the likes. This is a nice little, what I'll say, introduction, I guess you could call it, to what's going on in the game proper. Dun, dun. I think that's, yeah. At this point, I'll be ready to go in just a second. Depressing fact, this is when they still used Circle for the acknowledgement in PS1 games. I am Alazam, a scholar of ancient Ivalice history. Have you ever heard of the Lion War? It divided Ivalice in two over who would be the successor to the throne, and ended with the appearance of a young hero named Delita. Everybody living here knows this hero's tale. But we also know what we see in our eyes alone isn't necessarily the truth. So, for those that may not have heard of this game or played this game growing up, this is a what I'm guessing is Squaresoft's really heavy-handed attempt at tackling historical events in a fantastical way. Um, Here's a young man. He's the youngest son of a noble, Beauvais, pillars of knighthood. It deals kind of with a alternate world version of I think it's the War of the Roses or the 100 Years' War. I'm not 100% sure. I like history, but I get a lot of the random crap confused from it. There's no record of his playing an active part in history, but according to the Doré report, released last year, concealed for many years by the church, this unknown man is the true hero. Church claims he was a blasphemer and anarchist, the root of all evil. But is this the truth? Won't you join me on a journey for the truth? Before that, please tell me your name and birthday. Alright, I'm just going to go with their thing. And let's go with... that'll work. Another little miniature cinematic. The Zodiac Brave story. But yeah, it is, from what I am to gather, Squaresoft's attempt at kind of a... I don't know. Historical realism or historical fantasy or something like that. This is a game that I absolutely loved growing up, but it is one that I think gets a little frustration. It is the birth of the world of Ivalice, which is used multiple times in the Final Fantasy games. Between here and the Final Fantasy Tactics franchise, which only had like one or two other games in it, but they weren't nearly as good as this one, in my opinion. They added weird gimmicky elements like the judge system and stuff like that. So, but we'll see. We'll play it, get to see some action, see what it's like, that kind of stuff. Director of movie, that's what you want to say. I think this game kind of sparked my love of tactical combat in RPGs, not just in video games, but in tabletops as well. You know what? Give it a little bit longer while I fix my thumbnail. Yorinobu Sakaguchi. If anybody's in the chat and wants to talk along, feel free. I'm here. I'm here for that conversation. Orban Monastery. Orban? So this game is a weird weird place in Square's history as well because their localization got a little more literal. I don't think as much money was spent or time was spent localizing this game. So you have some weird grammatical errors and things like that, as well as the fact that it is this medieval setting where people just kind of talk frankly and there's no strange linguistic choices made. When this game was re-released on the PSP and I think mobile devices, they dramatically changed the script the game followed to where it uses more, I guess, what you would consider older English style of speech. I want to do a video at some point that talks about the differences between this and the quote-unquote Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions that came out on PSP, because you can get that on PS Vita right now. I think still. I'm unsure, honestly. It is honestly the superior version, but I'm kind of still sticking with the PSP version or the PS1 version of the game just for my own things. I don't know what it is, but there's like this really satisfying like sound with the typeface in this game. One moment, folks. Enjoy the music, even if you're not really able to continue as much. I have to take care of something small real quick. Won't be but a moment. If anybody's in the chat, I'll be right with you. I'm just taking care of something small real quick. Sorry for the delay. We can rock out some of this music though, and it's pretty amazing. Listen to my terrible acapella rendition. Alright, that is fixed. Let's get back to it, folks. I'm no longer a knight, just a mercenary like you. Well then, let's go. So this knight stumbles in. There's enemies. Lady Agrias, another knight, ran outside to be like, oh no, this is not happening. I'm going to deal with this. Crest of the Black Lion. What's wrong with Prince Galtana? He's such an idiot. Does he want to start a war? You know he do. Like you do. Excuse the prince, that beautiful face of yours will be scarred forever. Sexism. So this is our tutorial battle, so to speak, and it's not even a full-on tutorial. This is, again, the era of, like, we're going to kind of let you do stuff, give you some basic commands, only let you control one of your party members, and the light. Cal, the Kingslayer, was in my Front Mission 3 chat, talking about the complexity of the game, and this one is way more complex than Front Mission. Everyone has so many abilities and options. The customization is incredibly deep in this game. So, whenever I get a chance, it's Ram's turn. So Ram's is our main character. He has some sets of things. These attacks: dash, throw stone, heal, and wish. And then, of course, a regular AA attack. So, but we're going to move. Ramza is going to use Guts to throw a stone. Let's throw it at this archer that Gafgarian's already hit. 90% chance to do 12 damage. So the game kind of lets you know exactly what's going to happen. There's a lot here to absorb. I'm not going to really go super into it. This is just kind of to give an idea of like all the crap you can do in this game. The two things you just saw, experience points and job points. You have two sets of levels that each character kind of has to keep track of. Your character level determines your base information like hit points, magic points, that kind of stuff, speed, and then you have your character's job, which you can change frequently. But as you gain job points, you can unlock abilities from your job. Your job will level up, unlocking other jobs, and it's this branching system of like proficiencies and things like that. And as you unlock more abilities, you can combine them with the different character abilities, and it's this very deep, very amazing system that I have never stopped loving. Oh, you little monster. You can use... you start off with two classes, Squire and Chemist. Squire is your basic, like, I do melee and hit things class, while Chemist is your I use items and will eventually lead into magical classes class. And as you level them up and unlock new classes, those classes can level up and unlock other classes that have different types of abilities, and it's just this deep level of customization that I absolutely love. Go, Rad, go! Ooh, guarded. Nice. Ooh, rad. Got hit. It's bad. Some characters like Gafgarian remain Master of all swords, cut energy, Knight sword. And then of course as they use abilities or magic, sometimes these those little text things will pop up, adding some interesting flavor to the game. Your chance to hit is modified based on like the way your character is facing, and like shields will increase your ability to not get hit by attacks. It's a very deep system that I for lack of a better term, deeply enjoy. Height of spacing matters when using abilities. Ooh, sweet, that archer got stopped. Status elements can greatly affect, like, the difficulty of a battle. Getting rid of chemists is often like your first priority because they can heal allies, and that can get really old. Down. Aw, Ramza leveled up. So, this game has like a static experience system. Every 100 experience points, you level up. When you perform an action, you get a base of 10 experience points, and that can be modified based on what your action is. If you're performing an action that only affects your character, then it remains the 10 base experience points. If you perform an action that affects another character, the amount of experience points you get is based on the difference in level between your characters. So, if I'm playing Ramza, and Ramza is attacking an enemy, and that enemy... Oh, my controller is acting up, apparently. And that enemy is the same level as Ramza, then Ramza will get 10 experience points. But if that enemy is 2 levels below Ramza, then Ramza will only get 8 experience points. Or if that enemy is like 5 levels above Ramza, Ramza will get 15 experience points. It's all a balancing act based on all sorts of stuff. And then the job points you gain, I'm unsure the exact calculation of that, but it is based heavily on like your character's job level and then your character's level and... Oh, son of a biscuit-eating bulldog. That's fine. She'll take care of it. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into the little calculations of this game. Princess Ophelia, let go of me! So we see a more detailed, mysterious night. So a trait of this game that people always talk about, the weirdness of the art style, even though it's beautiful and has this like watercolor painting aspect to it, but the character art style has always weirded some people out because nobody has like visible noses. Like you get the idea where they should be, but they're not there. So we're going into kind of a flashback now. The main character seemed to recognize Delita, and from that, he kind of goes, back to when he last saw Delita. Delita's name appears for the first time a year before the war breaks out. Many soldiers who returned from the war had no jobs. This I always thought was funny. Where it says little money gets slowed down so much. And I often felt as though that was a jab at the at Squaresoft from the team that was either localizing or developing this game or something. that they were kind of working on a skeleton budget or some along those lines. I don't know much about the history of this game beyond it being kind of a comparison to the War of the Roses, which was about two people that had a somewhat legitimate claim to a European crown and went to war over it because, you know, one of them wanted it, the other wanted it, or... It's been a long time since I've studied that stuff. It's interesting to see that Ivalice, the world set in the Final Fantasy Tactics world, I've already mentioned a lot of games have come out of this, but they're all in various parts of the timeline. So it's very difficult to parse the actual like timeline of Ivalice, but I believe it's something like Final Fantasy 12 and the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance games are all set at the earlier portions of Ivalice's timeline. Final Fantasy Tactics, for lack of a better term, is like a post-apocalyptic version. And then Vagrant Story is like the end-all, be-all portion of this timeline. So, interesting stuff. So some sort of Garland Military Academy graduation day. And everyone's talking about the current events of the Marquis Elm Door, as well as the bandits and everything. The troubles of the land. We have a mission. As you know, barbarians are rapidly increasing here in Gallion. Traitorous Death Corps detests the royal family. We cannot overlook them. We'll begin exterminating these traitors by order of our master. Larg's Knights stationed at Egros Castle and many other groups will participate. Your duty is to support the flank. Specifically, you'll go to Egros and help guard it. Cadets, ready your swords. A gang of tortured thieves is trying to sneak into this town. We'll begin preparations now and keep them out of town. Come with me. This is the front line of operations. That is all. Prepare immediately. So, this is... I'm going to go ahead and save real quick. This is our first true, like, you get to build your team battle. You can usually only go in with about 5 characters. Ramza, unless you're doing a random fight, Ramza has to be one of them. So I'm going to go over some stuff about the various characters real quick. So these are the pre-generated characters they give you. 2 male squires and a male chemist. 2 female squires and a female chemist. And as I can only pick 4 more, I kind of got to be choosy about stuff. So, there are some differences in the stats, of course. Typically, male characters have a higher brave, while female characters typically have a higher faith. That is apparently not being adhered to super hard in this version of the game, because both of my male characters just in general have higher faiths than braves. And my male chemist is a higher brave. Both of my chemists have way higher braves than faiths. I have a very faithful party. So, I typically go with 1 male squire, 1 female squire, 1 male chemist, 1 female chemist for this fight. Go with Fred for my male squire. Vera is just obviously a better choice for my female squire. Her brave and faith are higher. Brave improves physical prowess, while faith improves magical prowess. And we're good. That's my 5 units. Starting the fight. Magic City, Garland. Just a bunch of kids with luck. Okay, all we have to do is kill these kids. Then we can escape. Don't worry, we'll kill every one of you. So, they typically give you, most of the time, defeat all enemies is the objective. Sometimes it's protect a particular person. Sometimes it's defeat one particular enemy. Delita in this fight is a guest character. I think most of the time he remains a guest character. Guest characters don't show up in random encounters, and guest characters can't permanently die. But you also can't control them, which is obnoxious. As you gathered from when I was talking earlier, as we discussed earlier, the way you get experience points is by performing various actions. And when enemies are defeated, there's also a countdown timer, and whenever the countdown timer reaches 0, said enemy, or even one of your units, will vanish permanently and die and either leave behind an item or an ability crystal. Don't patronize me, Delita. I'm also a Beauvais. Beolf. Snot-nosed nobles. But they'll either leave behind an ability crystal, which can allow you to pick up special abilities quicker without having to pay job points for them. Or they'll leave behind item chests, which will give you access to, you know, pieces of equipment or extra consumables or, you know, that kind of stuff. It's awesome that he's got Throw Stone already. That's so good. Something you can do also, and I'll show it off now, is attack your own allies. While not necessarily the best option, it can help you control a fight here, like I attacked Delita. Like I will probably be doing for most of the story-based fights. I will probably be killing Delita off relatively quickly because he's obnoxious, and I do not want him stealing all my experience points. Or at least getting him to retreat. I hate you, Delita. So, but when you do that, you still get experience points and job points for performing an action, no matter how weirdly obnoxious that action might be. I'm going to have that chemist wait. When you perform actions, you reduce your charge time. If you see the green bar that when a character is active, it says it's 100 out of 100. As turns go by, characters accumulate charge time based on their speed. Oh, Ziggy. And job level up, huh? Nice. Ramza got his first drop. See the timer there that pops up. It says 3. That is the time until that character becomes a crystal or a chest, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to at least let one become that. She's going to move right here. Dang it, I meant to use an item. That's fine. This chemist can go. She will use a potion. The red area that pops up is obviously the range of set abilities. The big thing about chemists, other than just having the item command as their primary action command, chemists can throw items with a range of like 4 squares. So, where a regular character, any other character using items, can only use items adjacent to where they are. Let's see, what abilities does Ramza already have? Just Wish, great. Ramza move here. just gonna have this guy wait a little bit longer. Oh, sweet. I am less concerned, in all honesty, with Delita, because Delita cannot permanently die, as he is a guest character. And Vera has leveled up. The only real downside is if you gain XP that overlaps the amount of XP you needed to get to 100. She was at 99, gained basically 10 XP, but because she only needed one, only one of that XP got through, and the other 9 kind of got lost in the shuffle. Alright, so Ramza is pretty hurt at this point. So we're going to go ahead and use an item on him. Because your main character can permanently die, and if he does, it's game over. Like you do. I gotta send someone over to deal with him eventually. Gonna go ahead and wait. Ramza's job leveled up. Probably Squire. That's usually the one that levels up in this initial fight, is the one you have equipped. Though you also get benefits for allies in your party being of a particular job. So like all my Squires may be Squires right now, but they will get some points in Chemist because I have some Chemists in my party as well. Something I have to do, though I'm trying to make sure I can pull it off, is if these enemies become crystals, I do not want to let the enemies get to them, because the enemies can also use them to heal up, or they can steal the items from me, basically. It's a dangerous situation. I don't want to let happen. Ramza will go ahead and take this guy out. Remove one more enemy from the board. Net Ramza some 20 XP. Alright, all that's left is the Chemist. And I'm not going to fully kill him yet, of course. Not going to have the ability to, because of his ability to have basically infinite items and heal. It's going to take a few minutes. I basically have to get enough people over there to rush him and deal enough damage to him. Another fun fact, because this Chemist is, well, a chemist and can heal himself, I can technically farm experience for as long as I want. Alright, so that one warrior Ramza took out on top of the building has turned into a crystal. They're typically green, blue, or red. Ramza has the chance to get an ability. Potion, antidote, and equip change. So normally you'd have to spend job points, and these are all from the Chemist class, to earn these abilities. And it's asking if I want to inherit the following abilities, so I won't have to spend job points to learn them. So that's just free abilities on the table. And we're going to go ahead and do that. That character became a chest. I'm going to have my Chemist pick up that chest. I am not going to actively sit here and wait for all the enemies to turn to chests, but I am going to do what I can to pick up stuff as I
make my way to kill that chemist. Clothes, just armor, nothing big. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, she only has dash, so I can't really do that. Different classes have different, like, speeds as well as movement speed and jumping capability, and those can be modified based on equipment and abilities you learn. So it's a very customizable game. Like, if I wanted to make a chemist with a very high rate of movement and a very high jumping capability, I could, based on just other abilities I equip and items I equip. I'll go ahead and move Roms here. This guy's about to turn into something. I may accidentally be, or unintentionally, be waiting for everyone to turn into chests or crystals. Go ahead and move him here for that. This should lock this chemist here, so he cannot escape. You know what? Only one more guy to go to turn into something. I'm going to go ahead and wait because I wasn't originally going to, but... pick up these two chests. What do we got here? Some more clothes. And it may not be that I even need those clothes for, because the characters usually come equipped with a base set of armor. But, I mean, it's money, so... Gonna use a potion again. And this is what I talked about previously about basically farming experience points. I could literally just sit here all day surrounding this guy and hitting him with attacks to earn experience points. He will also gain XP as he does things, but the rate that I'll gain is a little more valuable, useful, etc. And until I can somehow increase my ability to deal damage to overlap his ability to heal, I'm not going to be able to overcome him. He's just going to do his thing. So I have to change my tactics if I want to break this stalemate, which I'm about to. But what I'm going to do is give Ramza the chance to get in there and deal some damage. Because Ramza is getting pretty close to being able to level. So I would like to give him an opportunity to. Also, fun fact, at any point you can AT and check the turn order of things coming up. So we have him, Margot, Ramza, Fred. So what I'll probably do is have Margot move, then Ramza, and Fred will eventually go. And it's check the order. That will change based on actions, but you know. We go have Fred move right here, still keeping the chemist trapped. See what this chemist decides to do. They're not always as boring like this, but sometimes I try to blitz the chemist out first. That way he's gone. I don't have to worry about him. Now, Fred has an ability called Throw Stone. Let's see if we can't end this fight quickly. He's going to heal himself. This should be the last round of having to worry about this, though. Oh, Ramza is close. Of course he's going to get to do that. But that in theory means Ramza should get the killing blow now. So basic skill, we're going to throw a stone at this guy. Vera is going to go ahead and attack this guy. Ramza should get a chance to go before he gets to go again. And if that's the case, Ramza, as long as he doesn't miss, we'll get the killing blow. Boom. And level. Granted, he only needed like 8 XP, but he leveled.
Why do you see committing acts like robbery? You wouldn't have died if you led an honest life. Ah, Ramza, your privilege is showing. What honest life is there to live for people with no opportunity? Usually get gil and items at the end. When you move, place a cursor on a map symbol you want to go, press circle. Castles, towns, etc. Yeah, it's a bunch of random crap. It gives you the option for tutorials. Alright, so orange dots are locations you haven't been yet. Typically random locations. Larger are typically cities. Before I leave, I want to go to the shop. Make sure everyone has their best possible foot forward. Alright. I had some extra clothes I can sell. And you start with just like a crap ton of copies of basic items, but I'm going to stock up on some potions because they're useful. Let's get like 30 total. Alright, so before traveling we can also go to our formation, which is where you can customize your characters. We'll check out Ramza first. So, stats real quick.
Move is 5, so it's 5 squares without, some sort of, oh, I don't know how to put it, some sort of terrain modifier to that. Uh, Jump is, of course, how high you can jump of each height. Speed is how fast his charge turn, his active turn bar fills each round, I guess you could call it. The weapon power determines, like, basically what hand of weapon he's got weapons in, how powerful that weapon is. And then you have all of his base stat stuff over here farther to the right. So AT is how powerful you are with either physical or magical attack. And then you have the different kinds of evasion, I believe. CEV, SEV, and AEV. And it's how well you can evade those various types of attacks. Brave and Faith are also shown. And you can go through each character and you can kind of see the differences based on like class or level or whatever. But this is where the real fun is. As you gain, this is the job ring. These are the various jobs you can acquire. There's even more as time goes on. Ramza is currently a squire, chemist, knight, archer, priest, wizard. Which priest is your white mage and wizard is your black mage for more traditional Final Fantasy fare. In the abilities tab, you can set new abilities. We'll go ahead and set item for Ramza. We know he's got some of those. This is reactionary, if you see where the little hand's pointing. This is like a passive ability, and this is a movement ability. The little lightning bolt ones are active abilities. They're like different skill sets you can have. So Guts is like your Squire abilities, and Item is like Chemist abilities. You can go into Learn and spend your job points to learn new abilities. So we'll learn from Squire. Active abilities, you can learn like Accumulate, Dash, Throw Stone, Heal, and Yell. I'm going to learn Accumulate. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to learn Gain Job Point Up. So from there, I can go equip that. I'm also going to go and learn Throw Stone. And I can go to the other jobs that I have job points learned in. So as Ramza is got some stuff in Chemist already, let's go over to Chemist and learn Phoenix Down. So Ramza can be a backup healer with items. Knight and Archer, we're not going to touch right now. We're just going to leave that be. But I learned the passive ability, Gain Job Point Up. What that does is every time I do an action, I will just gain more job points than I would have previously. And job points let you level up your jobs, your classes, or whatever, as well as gain new abilities faster. So we'll go ahead and do similar stuff for our other squires. Fred also has enough to gain job point up, which is a pivotal squire skill. So Squire and Chemist being your first two classes you have access to are a lot of foundational abilities. Chemist has one I really like called Auto Potion. It is a counter ability that anytime you're attacked, there is a chance you will just use a potion. It's not going to happen every time, but it's a pretty high chance. Knight and Archer are based off of Squire, so as you can see, Fred is a level 3 Squire. At level 2, you unlock the ability to be a Knight. Let's see. Fred already knows Potion and Eye Drops. We'll go ahead and give Fred Item. And gain job point up. Dallas was not a Squire I used. Really didn't have enough points to do anything with, so we'll leave Dallas alone for now. And Durian, a Chemist. He did not gain a lot of job points in the last game, or last combat, because we didn't do too much with him, unfortunately. So, Durian gets left alone. Well, he can learn Throw Stone. And we're going to go ahead and set him up with Basic Skill, which is the Squire stuff. Valerie was a Squire I didn't take into combat, but Vera learned got some points, and just like we did previously, we're going to give her gain job point up. Kind of have a certain tactic that I do with this game. Everyone gets gain job point up as soon as possible. Go ahead and give Vera item as well. Margot, I expect. Yep, she's unlocked both Priest and Wizard. So, no worries, Cal. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, man. Cal over at the Kingslayer Network does a lot of really great streaming stuff. Tonight, I, Halo Smythe, and our friend Randall are going to be, I believe, finishing Marvel Ultimate Alliance unless things go awry, which I hope doesn't happen. I'm going to go ahead and give her wizard spells, though. So fire, bolt, and ice. And then, yeah, we're going to go ahead and set that she knows black magic. And there's really not a lot else she can learn. I can go ahead and teach her cure and I guess protect and shell from white magic. Though, as I already have black magic in her set there. Yeah, I really hope we finish too. It's going to be a little upsetting if we can't. But I have black magic as her second active ability, and so I cannot equip white magic yet. But that'll be okay for now. Alright, so that is it. You can also like customize your guest characters, but I honestly don't care about Lita. He's kind of trash. And as nobody changed jobs, we don't really have to worry about getting new equipment for everyone, which is a constant concern if your character changes job of some sort. Got Palm Fortnite, do my weekly challenges. But I'll be here. No worries, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm going to do Mandalia Plains. Oh, it's got little cinematics and stuff as time goes. Having attained the highest rank of Heavenly Knight, brave Balbanes was facing his last days. So Balbanes is, of course, or I say of course, but is revealed here shortly, is Ram's father, the Beauvais residence. I don't know if this is a flashback within a flashback or what. How goes the battle? To shift action, we recover Limberry. So the whole premise is it's, you know, the end of one massive war that's been going on for years and years. But another war is looming in the horizon. Talking about the Lita, so yeah, this is a flashback within a flashback. So now, I can leave and go to the Mandalia Plains. Alright, so there's something special about this fight. I can only take 4 in. I'm going to take Endurian, one of my chemists. Vera. And either Fred or Margot. I don't know if I'm going to need another chemist more than I'm going to need another squire. So we'll go with another squire for now. And if anything goes wrong, I'll just redo the fight correctly.
Yes, I am sure. Still breathing. What do we do? Just need the marquee. So we've come across a situation with bandits. Saving him is our priority. Save Algus. I actually think in the War for the Lions remake, his name is Argus. Ugh. Counter tackle, no. Oh, sweet. So, if you notice, in this fight, there is a large orange cat-like creature. As some fights go, you get access to fighting enemies that are, for lack of a better term, inhuman. From animals to, like, demonic creatures, all sorts of stuff. It is a interesting mixture of stuff you can get to fight. Some enemies, such as chocobos, if you get a chocobo in your party, you can have it be a valuable ally as well as a mount in combat, increasing your movement speed and sometimes adding special forms of movement. Dang it. I really hope Algus decides to move. Don't, like, challenge them. Okay, he's going to throw a stone and then hopefully move away. Please move away. Because you cannot take another round of getting beat on by these dudes. Sweet. Dang it. Okay. Wasn't a lot of damage, but that's okay. Alright, so Ramza has an ability called Wish, and we're going to go ahead and use it because it's very useful. It'll heal Algus for 22 HP, but drain Ramza of about like 11. It's a nice little HP conversion ability. It's not as useful as other heals, but early on it's nice to have that option. Vera has reached level 3, so that's nice. If you notice, some of these characters are getting like crap tons of job points now, which is also really good to have. Algus is the premise of this adventure. We gotta protect him, so I'm gonna go ahead and make sure he's full up so enemies don't rush him and take him out too easily. Also gets our chemist some more experience points, so let's see what this cat does. Oh, come on, Toledo, at least get closer to the fight. This fight should be over relatively quickly, though. It's not like I can, or they can heal. It's just a matter of outlasting all these enemies. Oh, dang it, Elgus. Oh well. At least he packs a wallet. Useful. And I'm glad I healed him. Boom! First enemy down. Second down. Another one. Alright, I'm feeling better about this fight already. Reducing the enemy action economy is always a valuable asset. So when dealing with beasts in combat, they typically have like less options available to them, but they will have special abilities. Like I'm sure this thing's going to use. Yep, poison nail. Just has a flat chance of poisoning an enemy. Oh, thank you for joining the fight, Toledo. Fred's gonna move on up. And gain a level. What's Argus gonna do? Or Algus. Nice. Except that he, took the kill, so that's frustrating. With animals, you're always going to want to, and I'll show you why. Talked earlier about the evasion things, so this creature has a base evade of 23%, which means it's just going to reduce my ability to hit him by about that much. So with Ramza, we're going to go ahead and move to the back, because attacking from the back always yields a better chance you're going to hit the target. 100% in this case. Enemies also, or creatures, also typically have a counterattack ability. You can go ahead and dash. It's going to do less damage, but I don't have to move, which I think still puts her in position to have a potion used on her, which is super important. She is actually pretty low on HP, so let's go ahead and heal her up, because I don't think my current chemist has Phoenix Down as an available skill. Good call. Of course, the creature is going to move there, do some damage. Have the Squire move here. Fred's going to go ahead and use Throw Stone. Because, doesn't do a lot of damage, but at this point it's just a matter of getting experience points. Ooh. Get some XP and some job points, because again, super important. And of course, Toledo's going to come finish this guy off, because Toledo's a jerk. Oh. And Ramza's poisoned. So poison, of course, as most tabletop or most video game RPGs, just deals a flat amount of damage every turn. with the combat over. You okay? Barely, but the marquee. And with that, the combat is over. 700 gil. Got a potion, a couple of potions. It's nice. I think that recovers the 2 that were used in this combat. Dun, 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 dun. A knight, a cadet. It's interesting because Algus kind of represents like the worst of nobility. He treats the lower classes like crap as opposed to trying to, treat them like human beings. Like Ramza's family traditionally has done, the Beauvays. But, Egros and report. Alright, so that becomes like a random encounter location now. This is a thing I kind of enjoyed about this game the most, is basically after every fight, I kind of check in with my team, see if they've gained enough points to do something with. Endurian still hasn't, but Vera. Also, still really hasn't gotten to do anything with. She'll learn Throwstone. It's a useful skill. She doesn't live in a glass house. But characters only gain XP and JP, of course, if they're participatory in a combat. So there's that. And as that's pretty much the bulk of how the game functions. You just go through the game, you do encounters, you follow the story, there's special events, special encounters, you level up, gain new jobs, spells, abilities, etc., etc. I'm going to go ahead and call this stream for now. I may come back and play some Final Fantasy Tactics sometime in the near future, but I have one more game, and it's the most special game to me of these golden era games that don't get a lot of love kind of thing. So special of the games that I'm going to be, showcasing for this. It is the only one I do not own digitally because it is not digitally released here in the States. I believe in Europe it is, but here in the States it is, I could only get it in physical format. So I own it physically because it's one of my faves. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with some Saga Frontier. Thanks guys. Everyone have a fantastic afternoon, and thank you for joining me. Thank you especially to Cal the Kingslayer, who I'll be, like I said earlier, be playing the Marvel Ultimate Alliance with tonight, with him and Halo Smythe and Randall Sands. So, thank you much. Bye-bye.